When adapting the lessons from Scripture curriculum into new languages, people in different places have used a variety of different methods. However, whenever possible, we recommend that people use the online adaptation app. Using this app has 6 distinct advantages over other approaches. The first advantage is security. The app saves your work on a server that is far from your location, so that if you lose your equipment or need to relocate quickly for any reason, your work will be saved. Secondly, using the app allows multiple people to collaborate on the project, even if they are located in different cities or even on different continents. Third, the app has an offline version, allowing individuals to work when they don't have access to the internet, and then sync with the project when a connection becomes available. Fourth, using the app can speed up adaptation considerably. It does this by importing scripture from source files, replicating the translation of words, phrases, and sentences that are repeated in the text, and formatting the finished translation almost automatically. Fifth, using the app promotes continuity by helping you ensure that the translation of instructions, titles, and section heads is consistent throughout the curriculum. Finally, using the app can help teams from other language groups who may want to adapt the curriculum from your language to theirs do so more quickly and efficiently. In this way, others can benefit from your work in the same way that you are benefiting from the work of the people who prepared the version that you are using as a source text. If you decide that you would like to use the app to do an adaptation into your language, the first thing to do is contact us. We will work with you to set up an adaptation project in the app and send you a URL. All you do then is copy that URL into your browser, and that will open a user interface. You can share this URL with others and allow them to collaborate with you on the adaptation. When you open the app, it will look something like this. The name of the project will appear in the dark blue bar. For this demonstration, the name in the language slot is Test. Usually this title will be the name of the language. Beneath this bar are 3 sections. The section on the far left includes all the lessons in both Luke and Acts. You can move from lesson to lesson in the app by clicking on the lesson numbers in this column. The section on the far right gives you an idea of what the current lesson will look like when it is printed. You will notice that some of the text in this section is highlighted in yellow, while some is not. The parts in yellow are the parts that will be spoken out loud to the children when the lesson is taught. If you are making a bilingual version of the teacher's guides, the highlighted parts are the only sections that need to be translated. If, however, you want to do a monolingual version, all the parts should be translated. The section in the middle is where the people who are translating the lesson will enter the translation. At the very top of this section, you will see the words source language, followed by a box with the name of the language in it. This language is the source language for your project. Any text that you do not change in the project will be copied from this source language version of the curriculum. To choose a different source language, you can click the down arrow in the box and choose any language in the list. Notice that when I choose Espanol, the text in the right-hand panel changes to Spanish. And when I choose Hausa, it changes to Hausa. Since this video is in English, let's change the source language back to English. Immediately below this are 3 buttons containing arrows. These buttons allow you to move between the parts to translate within each lesson. Notice that below these buttons is the title, The Birth of John the Baptizer, and beneath that is a box containing the name of the project. Notice that that same title, The Birth of John the Baptizer, also appears at the top of the right-hand section. When you type a translation of this title into the translation box in the middle section, and then click Save, the proposed translation replaces the title in the right-hand pane. If you completely delete the contents of the translation box, the source language version of the text will once again appear in the right-hand panel, but will be saved in the History section below the Save button. The buttons containing the arrows allow you to move between the parts you will translate. Clicking on any of these arrows will first save the translation in the current translation box and then move to another section. The box with 2 right arrows will move you to the next section. Clicking the box with 2 left arrows will move you to the previous section. Clicking the button with 3 right arrows will advance you to the next section that has not yet been translated. This button is especially useful when you near the end of the project, as it will help you ensure that you have not inadvertently skipped any material. One way the app speeds up the translation process is by copying the translation of key phrases to other places in the guides where they occur. To see how this works, let's focus on 3 words or phrases in this first lesson. These are the word Luke, the term lesson overview, and the sentence, God hears our prayers. The sentence, God hears our prayers, is the truth being taught in this lesson, and something that the children will learn by heart. Since it is important in this lesson, it occurs in several places. For example, if we scroll down to this section, we see it here. And scrolling further down, we see it here as well. Now let's scroll back up to its first occurrence and translate it. Now, when we scroll down to the second place it occurs, we see that it has been translated here as well. It has also been translated where it occurs in the application section and elsewhere. Note that below the Save button in the working window is the history of the translation of each phrase or sentence. In this section, the app saves the translations that have been deleted from the working window. This feature keeps you from forgetting translations that you might not have liked, but which, in retrospect, turn out to be the best option. It also allows everyone collaborating in the project to consider different people's ideas. Items get added to the history whenever something that was once saved in the working window is deleted. The term lesson overview occurs only once in lesson 1, but it also occurs in all 103 of the other lessons in the curriculum. We can see in the history section that several translations have been proposed for this title. We'll save a little time by copying one of these and pasting it in the translation box. When we translate this first instance, the translation will be automatically propagated to all of the other lessons. Here it is in lesson 2. And even if we look in lessons from Acts, we will see it has already been translated. This not only saves time, but ensures that this term will be translated consistently wherever it occurs. Finally, let's translate the term Luke. Luke occurs in many places in the teacher's guides, but not all instances can be translated using this method. However, translating it once in this context will also change hundreds of occurrences in places where Luke occurs as part of a reference. The app also speeds up adaptation of the teacher's guides by importing translated scriptures from paratext files. This is especially helpful for versions adapted to minority languages that have recently been translated. To take advantage of this feature, you need to get permission from the copyright owner of the version in question to use portions of Luke in the guides, and then send us the USFM file containing those scriptures. Once you have finished translating the first teacher's guide, you can let us know and we will send you a PDF version of it. You can use this to test your translation and make any needed changes before printing. You should not do a large print run until each lesson has been tested for comprehension with the people who will use the materials in class.